That's the sound of me dying, but that's also the sound of us being born again and starting with a wonderful show today. That was really cringe and that was really cheesy. Anywho, let's move on. I think that's more than enough time. So why don't we go to our little 3/4 view here. Hello, guys. What is going on? It's your boy. Oh, just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. That's not what I do. That's not my intro. Anyway, how's it going? Today is it's a wonderfully beautiful Saturday. The sun is out where I am. The wind is blowing, and it's getting between the 40s and 30 degrees areas, and so it's getting pretty cold. but that's okay. Because we have a wonderful, wonderful show today. Now, I have been working hard to kind of revamp some things, you know, and make some improvements. And let me tell you something. We got some big things coming in the future. Whether it happens this month, next month, the month after, we'll just have to see. But all I can say is that big things are coming. Now, let's talk about our last stream that we had. The last stream we had was Sunday last week. And, oh wait, I guess it was Sunday this week, because sometimes I forget that, guess what? Sunday is a part of the same week. Not the point. Point is, we had a wonderful show last week with our wonderful guest, Sevilla, and we also had the guest before that, Breezy. And my goodness, as I keep doing this show, it's something that really makes me reevaluate, you know, things I see and I think about the VTubing community. Because I remember when I first started this, I'm like, oh my goodness, I probably won't be able to have a whole lot of people on this show, because, you know, coming from somebody with such a small size of, I want to say, where was I at? I want to say about 30 or 40 followers on my Twitch account. And I was like, you know what? I don't care about the size. I don't care about my numbers or anything like that. I just want to talk to people. I want to hear what their story is, and I want to do it. And that's what I've been able to set out and do. And last week is a perfect example of how I'm able to use this platform, use what I have, my resources, to do that. Can I ask my streaming homie if he needs some more? Please do! I want everybody on this show. I want everyone. I just smacked my mouse, like, imagine the home run bat sound. I just smacked my mouse and it went flying across my table. But, like I said, as I do this, it makes me so grateful and so happy that, you know, I'm able to reach out to people and ask them. Because if there's one thing that I can talk about, so hypothetically they say yes, and I'll just send them an invite to the server. Yes. And I'll have one of the mods reach out and I'll talk and get it set up, because if somebody wants to be on the show, you know, 9.5 times out of 10, I will say yes. You know, unless they're like racist or homophobic or, you know, transphobic or anything like that, you know, which thankfully a lot of people that I've been talking to, they are not. So, you know, I accept everyone here. And if somebody wants to be on the show and they ask me, you know, I will happily have them on the show. So, oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad she's chill. But it makes me happy that I can do all this. And the thing is that what a lot of people don't know is that, hello, just passing by the stream before I take a nap. Have a good time. Oh, thank you. And my gosh, holy cow, that scared the crap out of me. Whew. Every time, I swear. Huh. Holy crow. Every time I get a follow, I get bombarded. One, I get the Taco Bell ding, but two, I get bombarded by Dr. Peppers. You still saving up 3,000 points? Wait, do I have anything at that? Do I have anything at that level? I don't think I do. Wait a minute. No, I think I know what you're gonna do. If you have that, save that for a... Ribbon told me to follow. You said it. Aw, thank you, Ribbon, and thank you, Kazu. I really appreciate it. You're gonna get all the Dr. Pepper. Aw. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, I like stressing this is that this is for entertainment. This is for fun, and so making sure that people understand, you know, the followers, you know, the comments and all that, they're not my big priority. I could do this with 0 viewers and I just have my guest, and that's more than enough for me, because that means I get to talk with some of the most wonderful people. So it's something I'm truly grateful that I get to do. I learn so much. I feel I get educated because I get to talk with such wonderful people every single show. Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's such a good feeling. Again, I'm just super happy and super excited. Oh, but before I need to finish my other thought because I always get off track. Yeah, so what goes on behind the scenes is that I spend a lot of my time, you know, trying to reach out. I love reaching out, and I love talking to people about, you know, one, meeting new people, meeting new friends, but also seeing about having people on the show. And so, like I said, a lot of my time is dedicated to that. Well, sounds good, Apollo. You have a wonderful time. You have a wonderful day, and thank you. You know, I really appreciate it. But I'm of the opinion where, hello, Constellation Pegasus Wings. I love the emote. Welcome. Ribbon has visited. I am truly grateful. I have been blessed. So, I'm of the opinion that if you want to talk with people, you want to set up collaborations, you want to do anything like that, just shoot for it. Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll end up among the stars, is how that quote goes, you know, because that's what I do. I try and talk to everybody to say, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your story. You know, you have something unique and something wonderful to share that I've never heard before. And so, you know, I talk with, and I am interacting with so many people, whether that's on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, where I'm reaching out and be like, hey, you know, come, you know, do you want to be on the show? Do you want to talk? You know, some people, they either say, yeah, I'd love to do it, or they either don't respond back. Thankfully, I haven't gotten a no yet, but I know that'll probably come in the future. And I'd love to be at a point in the future where people will say, hey, can I be on the show? Can I be on the show? And then I don't have to seek people out as much. And then people can just come and just sign themselves up. And then I can sit through and walk through all of that with them. So that way, if somebody wants to be on, they will always have a place and a spot. You know, regardless of size. Like, for instance, I have a guest that I'm planning in 2 weeks, where she is much bigger, much bigger than I think I was anticipating in the early stages of this show. So, it's just something I'm super excited. She is an agency VTuber as well. So, look for that, anticipate that. It's going to be a wonderful show on that. So, enough talking about me, because this show is not about me. This show is about our guests. So, we have our guest from last week. That was Sevilla. We have our guest for tomorrow. Join us tomorrow for our next wonderful guest. Her name is Monozuki. And as for today, I get to have a wonderful guest that I actually relate to a decent amount because, well, we both work in the entertainment industry. Whereas I work in the audio field, she works more in the video field, specifically more in the animation side of things. So it's something that's super fun to really, like I said, I meet wonderful people and I get to really see where people get their experience, their stories, their life, and just, I get to connect with people. So I'm really bad at transitioning into these introductions. I'm always bad at that. But let me introduce our DJ, animator, goofy dog VTuber, Ribbon Female. Let me go into that. Let's go. And we gotta wait for her to appear because guess what? I run things through OBS Ninja, and sometimes it does not want to work, but I mean, it's working this time. We have to give it a couple seconds. That way the image can clear up. Yeah. We do. Yes. We got to give it a second. Come on. There it is. So, in addition to having our guest today, we also have a wonderful addition to our show, which will hopefully be having him more in the future. Please give also a round of applause or whatever you want to do for our new addition to the show, our co-host, the Phantom Fame, except he's not here in body. He was instead possessing our little Gojo here. So say hello, Phantom.
This was a more suitable vessel.
Which is pretty ironic considering the show.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, we have. There's so much fun to be had today. So how are you doing, Ribbon? First of all, my gosh.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Thanks, Ordinary Clover. I appreciate that. Especially when it happens during the show. Yeah, so how are you doing? I'm here for Ribbon. Of course.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Please, by all means, this is all for our guest, all for Ribbon. So thank you.
You are so screwed when you get someone big on this show.
Oh no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. We won't talk about that until then. Like I said, I'm not in it for the numbers. I'm here for the stories. I'm here for the juicy bits about life details and, you know, witty anecdotes and all of that. And maybe the Dr. Pepper getting thrown. That's beside the point. The point is we have our wonderful guest here. So I will ask again, how are you doing, Ribbon?
I'm good.
So
Mm-hmm.
I hear, or what I've been seeing, is you got some stuff going on for your channel currently. Is that right? With your donate-a-thon.
Donathon. That was super fun. We had that during my debut.
And how did that go?
It went really well. We raised around $65 for Friday.
Hey, let's go!
Damn.
Yeah.
So then what all were you able to do on stream because of it? Because I know, especially with a lot of these like a-thon type things, you know, people set some goals, people set some reward stuff, you know. So what were you able to do with that?
For if we reach $100 tier, I was gonna do a free art stream for like 2 hours on Twitch.
Oh.
But I'll still extend it till tonight, so there'll still be time.
Welcome, Kusanagi. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you coming here to support Ribbon. So.
Welcome.
So you're saying right now, if we go over to your channel and we donate, it still contributes to the donathon.
Oh
yes,
my gosh!
Definitely. Oh man!
Always scares the crap out of me. Holy cow!
Sodas everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
So, yeah. So if we go over there, what you're saying is, we got ourselves a comedian.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Once they figure, everyone gets obsessed with it once they realize they can throw cans on their own with channel points. It doesn't cost a lot of channel points actually. It's a very low amount, and I believe you get 300 free just for following. So yeah, anyone who's followed you, can you hear me? It's beginning to descend.
Don't encourage them. Well, no, I will encourage
do that.
I will encourage you because that's exactly what it's for. But guess what? We're here for our wonderful guests. So I always ask the same question. It's my favorite question to ask at the start of every one of these shows, which is, who are you and what is your story?
Yes. Well, my name is Ribbon. I'm a demon pup from hell. I discovered my lore a few months ago. I'm a DJ, and I'm also an IRL streamer, and I'm an animator and an artist. And I suck at video games, but you know what? I'm playing Grand Theft Auto story mode, and I'm seeing how that goes.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto story mode. Have you never played it before?
I never played it before.
Oh my goodness, how far are you?
I'm on Grand Theft Auto 5, and I'm barely in the beginning.
Oh my goodness. See, I've played through Grand Theft Auto.
I'm so excited.
Like Grand Theft Auto, it's only with time that I realized that Grand Theft Auto 4 is a treasure of a game. Because like if you look at the games that came out during that time, it's just that Grand Theft Auto really set itself apart, especially one with the unique story, but two with just the physics engine in it. It's just so much fun. So,
but you're gonna just neglect how our cousin constantly calls us to ask us to go bowling, because that's the best part of the game. I believe it was Miracle of Sound actually made a song based on it, where it's the whole thing is just talking about the different calls that you get from your cousin that kind of try to pull you back into the story when you're free roaming. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 4 is fantastic. 5 is great too. I'm surprised what drew you to playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for the story mode. Most people just play online.
I love Trevor. I don't know that much about him, but like I love him as a character.
Trevor is a unique
10 out of 10 peak character design.
Trevor's a unique guy. Like, and he's one of those people where when I first started playing GTA 5 when it came out, I was like, I mean, I love playing Michael all the way. There's just I love his slow down time ability, but as I started to play more and more, I realized how much fun it is diversifying all of the characters in it. Because Trevor is just a maniac unto himself. And it's just so much fun to play as him. Let me put this in chat. There we go.
Yeah, so we can see people are already beginning to simp over the model. I see Mono, who's tomorrow's guest, immediately in love, obviously. And
oh, thank you.
Something that I noticed, you've got a barcode on your chest.
Yes, I do have a barcode on my chest. It's for double stuffed Oreos because I am addicted to desserts and cookies.
That's good reasoning. You know, I thought you were gonna say something different, but I like that that's what it was. I heard double stuffed Oreos and I was like, okay, I think that's all I need to know.
Okay, so maybe I'm in a little bit of the minority here, but I think that Chips Ahoy is better than Oreos.
What?
Sometimes. Depends.
Can we switch seats? And you can sit on the floor, and I'll take the big boy chair. If you're gonna come in with those kind of takes, Chips Ahoy.
What do you mean, Chips
Ahoy?
Chips Ahoy is the bomb.
Yeah, but is it Milk's favorite cookie, or is it just its friends with benefits?
I'm sorry that I'm getting ratioed because I like Chips Ahoy. Look, hear me out though. Let me hear me out. Now, Oreos are fantastic. Oreos are great. However, the idea of like being able to just have a small little cookie, a chocolate chip cookie that I can dunk inside of my milk is just fantastic to think about. Like the possibilities are endless, and it soaks up the milk so well. Whole milk is the only way you can eat those cookies, you know.
Agreed.
See, we agree on that.
Yeah.
But with that, it's just when I eat the Oreos, I don't dunk them in milk as much. Instead, I just separate them and just eat the filling, and then eat the crackers. So
yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I mean, and this is the big question, because Ribbon, you love double stuffed Oreos. Do you ever take off?
Yes.
Yep. She immediately knew. You take off one from each and then make it quadruple stuff. That's what you do.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. Sometimes I do. Yeah. Oh my God.
What's the largest stack you've ever made?
I also love the cereal. Maybe like four stacks.
Wait, there's a cereal?
Okay, that's respectable.
Yeah, Oreo O's cereal.
There's a cereal?
Yeah, you can have Oreos for breakfast.
I didn't know this.
That is like that's like the selling point of like Cookie Crisp, except just cookies for breakfast. Which
it's so much better than Cookie Crisp.
Is it really? I like Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
What did I do to deserve that?
You always deserve the Dr. Pepper. They're feeding you. Just open one and drink it.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
Yeah.
I would, but
by the way, I want this man to be like burping by the end of this.
I'm
like,
drinking Fuji apple sparkling water right now.
You're not drinking a Dr. Pepper? What is this?
So I was going to, but I realized I'm like, I'll have that after stream or I'm gonna be not that's not what I realized. Pardon me. I realized that I'm gonna be doing voice work after this, so I don't want to have something that's excessively sugared. I realized that I don't want to have something that's excessively sugared. So you know, just the nice, wonderful sugar-free, caffeine-free, calorie-free, you know, sodium-free, sparkling water. I thought that was good because in my part-time, guess what? I do voice work and I do audio stuff. So, drinking. If anybody who wants to do voiceover work and just acting and singing in general, here's a tip for you: don't drink milk. And don't drink any like sugary beverage before doing any of that, because guess what? The lactose in the milk will coat your vocal cords and it'll make it not good for singing or for acting. And for the sugar, it does the same thing, except it coats it in that viscous like high fructose corn syrup stuff in your throat and makes it not so good. So there's your tip facting for the day.
Yeah. So you DJ, do you sing at all? Or what do you DJ?
I wish I sang. I performed actually at my first club. It was at a rave downtown in my city.
Yo.
And I performed for the very first time last month, and I had a blast. And I performed with all of these really I kind of like well-known in my city DJs, and it was my first time, and they were like, as soon as I got off stage, I was like, yeah, that was a great first show, and we all got free drinks, and we all were dancing and everything behind the decks, and like 3 of them were like, wait a minute, that was your first set ever? And I was like, yeah, and they were like, you sound so professional, and I was like, oh my god, stop it.
That must have felt so good.
I felt so good. I was like, I'm with the pros with you guys, so it made me feel really nice.
Well,
did you get paid for it?
Yeah, I got paid.
Then you're a pro.
Yeah.
That's all there is to
DJ.
it.
So then,
Yeah.
can I ask what songs you played? Like what kind of music you played? I know it's a rave. I'm not that familiar with the rave scene. So, you know.
Of course, the square over here.
Yeah, I played.
Well, like, I don't want to interrupt you, so why don't you tell them about what's at a rave?
Oh, yeah. So, like, raves are, like, usually, they used to be very underground. They used to be set in warehouses and, like, kind of illegal for, like, noise complaints and stuff like that. They used to be just random parties that people and DJs would throw. And, like, a long time ago, like, way back in the 90s and, like, everything like that was when raves were super popular. And then eventually, raves became more well-known for, like, Electric Daisy Carnival and, like, Tomorrowland and like the festivals you know today, where like everybody's at the raves, everybody's with the glow sticks, everybody's dancing, everybody's partying until 7 a.m. Like that's the stuff that I grew up with. Oh no! Hello.
Thank you, Yozuki, for the follow. What the Dr. Pepper? So, like I said, every time that is very loud in my ear, so I get jump scared by it.
Jump scare, Dr. Pepper jump scare.
Yeah. So now.
But yeah.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead and finish that.
Okay, so like, yeah, so raves are super cool. I usually play a lot of bass heavy music, which is called, there's a genre called Vtuber bass. And like, it's just mainly 4 on the floor beats. Like, if you look up an artist from Osla, which is Skrillex's record label, I've worked for a few artists on Skrillex's record label, actually, and that's a huge flex. But yeah, they came to me and they were like, you're a cool artist. I love your trippy style. And they're like, do you want to make art for me and stuff? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But anyway, AC Slater is an artist from Skrillex's record label, and I played a lot of his music during my set, mixed with some other songs. And yeah, I just love music that just makes you want to get up and just start moving.
I mean, it's one of those, like, it's one of those things where when you get involved with it, it's a whole body experience. Because like, one thing when I was in my younger days, I say as I'm in my 20s, I been to many a many a party before, but never like a rave. And I know one of my coworkers recently, before she moved, you know, she went to a lot of raves. So, and she also would DJ with a lot of raves, just in like a town 30 minutes south of us, or south of me. I'm like, what do you do? She's like, oh, you know, I just play a lot of like, what was it? Jungle, what is it? It's a genre.
Drum and bass, jungle.
Yes, because I didn't know if it was jungle drum and bass, or if it's just drum and bass. Which that's something I recently started listening to, like in the past year, where I've gotten really into it. Just normal D&B stuff.
Yes.
Because like, you know, listening to of course something like Pendulum, which is like I think probably the most famous to non D&B listeners.
Yes.
But just listening to that, or
a huge classic.
Yeah, like, and I describe the music as like 90s Gran Turismo music, because it feels like you're watching a racing game.
Yes, that's exactly why I love drum and bass and jungle. I'm very passionate about the genres that I love, and like, oh my god, drum and bass and jungle just makes me feel like I can make the most badass animation ever, like if I really like gave it a shot. Just something like really cool.
What was that song I was listening to? Because I've been really listening to I've been listening to the song, it's called Only You by Intense. And yes,
that's a great song.
It's such a good song, and I only knew about that because, like, so how I got into drum and bass, bear with me, I got into it because of the helicopter cat meme. So what? Do you not know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
All right, look, I'm not, don't treat me like I'm old here. But I do not know what helicopter cat is. I feel like I feel like there's like a 5-year gap of memes that I just like, I don't know what happened. I just missed them.
Oh, and, my god.
I feel like those are the memes that everyone always uses.
Wonder if I can play that on stream without getting disintegrated by Twitch.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, I think you'll be fine.
Because I think it'd be fun to show that on stream. Let's see.
Give it a shot.
Gotta get that set up.
While you're looking at that, Ribbon. I really like what you were talking about with like the way you said listening to that music makes you feel like you could animate like really good quality stuff, like make really good animations. Isn't it crazy how much music can affect like your mood like that? Because I have a bob dummy, which is one of the like, it's just like, you know, a waist up, no arms, like just a really ugly, scary buff dude that's like a punching bag. And I actually like, I don't box, but I have equipment for training for boxing. And so that's actually what got me into metal, is because I like to listen to like high BPM metal music to get me hyped for like, you know, trying to do those trainings for like multiple minutes, because it's exhausting. And I love what you said when you were like, yeah, that's the type of music that makes me feel like I can do this. Yeah, like if I'm not listening to like really high BPM music with a lot of energy into it, like I can go maybe like 20 seconds before I realize I am very out of shape. I feel like it's so crazy how much music can affect your mood like that, and like just give you like this weird like sort of energy that you do not have before. It's the same thing with like a good soundtrack.
That's why I listen to.
Oh man, yeah.
That's why I listen to like the Yakuza soundtrack whenever I work out, because I'm like, every time I hit the pump, I'm like, oh, let's go. I just hearing it such everything, the drums, the drums, the electric guitar, you know, everything, and it's listening to that, or like the Baki workout playlist is just, whoo.
Yeah.
So
do you guys ever make
or
the
working
mistake?
out to the Doom soundtrack?
Do you ever make the mistake of bringing up your workout playlist while you're driving? Either of you guys do that?
I've done that once.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I get a heavy foot whenever that sort of stuff comes on. And I think the worst was I had a phase where I really got into the theme song for Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was just fun to try and sneak it in whenever I could, as quietly as possible, and slowly increase the volume. And at one point, I realized I had it on repeat 1, and I was in the car, and I realized I was doing like 30 over, and I was like, oh, I need to change this to like some Michael Bolton or something, because
Bolton.
this is becoming unsafe.
He goes from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance to Go the Distance.
Michael Bolton, like, don't sleep on him. He's really good. He's a very incredible vocalist.
He's very good. So I have that helicopter cat pulled up.
Yes.
So this is what I'm gonna do.
Perfect.
I need to pause the music. I'm gonna pause the music for a moment, and we're going to take a gander at this for a moment. So it should transition. There we go. So it's on that.
Yeah.
We'll unmute this. Oh.
Oh, I've seen
This is all it is. This is all it is.
I've heard the music and seen the breakdancing. I did not know this was Helicopter Cat.
This is Helicopter Cat. And this is the video that got me into listening to D&B.
Yes.
But
I just assumed this was video game soundtrack music.
no, this is somebody.
No.
What do you mean I deserve that? I didn't do anything to deserve that. I'm just showing music.
You always deserve it.
But like I said, this is a full 2-minute video. It's just this. It's so
Yeah.
it's so chill.
It's
Wow. I can take my headset off for a moment. Let me go back to the set.
See, I'm just listening through Discord, so I don't have to I don't have to deal with hearing all the sound effects. I just get to watch and enjoy. It's pretty
Phantom,
great.
I'm gonna. Oh no, it's still playing. I'm just gonna sit here. You ask a question. I'm just gonna take my headset off for a moment.
Yeah, of course. All right, so this is one I always come up with, because for me, my design really came from references that I found, and the artist who did my model just kind of mashed everything together. But breaking a little bit of the fourth wall, that's what I do. I do it plenty of times, because I'm more of a
Yes.
concept VTuber myself. Your model is fucking adorable.
Well,
How
thank
did you come up with
you. I came up with it. Oh no, the hearts are like glitching out. I came up with it. Cause she kind of looks like me. Like my dog VTuber, she looks
Sure.
a little like me. I even cosplayed as her at my
Really?
anime
That's so
convention.
cool.
Yeah, I cosplayed as her. My friend's making the jacket. She lives in California. She's making the custom jacket for me. I
Aw.
was thinking of making the collar like fictional, like what is it called? I was thinking of making the collar like comically large, like how it is now, like out
Sure,
of
sure.
foam or something like that. And
Well,
then
it's the
just
chain
making
that's
like
huge.
yeah. And then I made the ears by myself. I made the dog ears by myself, but I bought the tail on Amazon, and I was like, haha, boom, easy cosplay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. See,
Yeah.
I actually have my model doesn't necessarily look like me. There are elements that are shared, like the white hair, like the silver hair. I started going gray in high school, and I have a
Mhm.
gray streak in my hair naturally that is just getting more and more prominent, that I have now started to get people who ask me where I get my streak done, because they want one as well, or they want to dye their hair and they think mine looks really good, and they're like, yeah, it's a perfect streak. Who did your hair? Like, it looks great. And I'm like, Father Time did my hair, and unfortunately he's still working on it.
perfect.
See, that's something I always thought would be fun in the future is because I've always wondered about that in terms of cosplaying as VTubers. Do you think more often than not people who end up cosplaying at, like, if they wanted to cosplay as their model would go to a convention and kind of be like incognito that, nobody would ever suspect the actual
Me to be myself.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. They have a chance to just relax and just be undercover and being like, "Oh, yep, this is totally me, or totally I'm totally cosplaying as somebody else for the day." Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the flaw in the plan comes in when you start to have a really unique voice. Because I mean, at that point, people are just going to be like, "Wow, yeah, I love that VTuber. That's awesome." And then they hear you speak, and they're like, "That's too good. That is too good." Like, I think you might be that person. Like, I mean, I think I would be caught in an instant because I am my voice is very expressive, and I also don't shut up. So that would be a dead giveaway right off the bat. They would know. I would never be able to get away with that. I'm also not nearly as buff as I wish I was. Not enough to cosplay.
I don't know, just get those. It's the season for gains, so just up the protein intake and just hit the gym, and you got it.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Speaking of IRL stuff, did I hear that you do IRL streams as well?
Yeah, I do. So every time I DJ, I do IRL streams. Sometimes I bake. Like, I baked brownies the other day. Yeah, like, I just love, like, showing everybody my crazy little apartment full of... Oh, yeah, wait, I almost forgot that I even have this. I collect synthesizers. I collect a lot of different synthesizers. I have a few. I have a Korg mini log. I have a grandmother synthesizer. I also have a talk box. Yeah, I have a Korg. Yep. I call it my Corgi.
Korg is good.
I also have a talk box. Do you guys know talk boxes, like where they talk with a tube in their mouth?
I do.
Yes, yeah, I have one. I love playing around with that thing. I have a few Roland synthesizers. I have a drum machine similar to the Roland 808 drum machine. Yeah, I just like music. I just think it's really cool.
I have not really met another person who knows a lot about synthesizers, because something I love talking about is the history of the Moog synthesizer and how it came, like, because do you know where the Moog synthesizer, like, its predecessor was?
Remind me again?
That would be the Mellotron.
Oh.
So, for those that don't know, a mellotron, it is one of my favorite instruments. Now, a mellotron is a keyboard that was used in the 60s, heavily used in the 60s. And the thing that made it so unique was that it essentially had a little motor, and that when you pressed a key down, it would pull a string along two rubber like bracers, and as it pulled it up, so imagine if you take your left hand, you take your two fingers and kind of do it like you're about to squish something. Now take your index finger from your right hand and then pull it up through your fingers that is going to be squished. That's exactly how it works. Whereas it's pulling that string, it's going to produce a sound much like it would you're dragging a bow across a violin. Now here's where the physics gets involved. Because acoustically speaking, if you ran some sort of sound through a vibrating string, you can change the way the sound is produced. That's essentially how paper cups and strings allow you to talk. Because as the string is vibrating, it's carrying your acoustical energy through that and allowing you to... welcome back, Ordinary. Nobody hurt or died. Oh, well, that's good. As it happens, with the Moog synthesizer, or with the Mellotron, you can have different cartridges that are loaded inside of the thing. And when it plays the note, it also pushes that sound out of a small little speaker, like a very, very small speaker, that allows it to replicate the sound of anything that's on the cartridge. So you can have this little bitty keyboard suddenly sound like a full orchestra in the 60s. And what made this so unique is just that no other instrument could really produce it, and because it ran with analog sound of it being pulled by a string against two little wedges, that's analog sound, that's not digital. And if you want to hear what that sounds like, so go look up Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles, because that's what Paul McCartney used on it. Or my favorite example of it, it was used by a man named Mike Pinder, who is the Mellotron player for the band The Moody Blues, which they released their album Days of Future Past in 1969, did not perform so well, re-released it in 1971. That album shot to #1, but their song Nights in White Satin is a perfect example of the use of the Mellotron, the Mellotron. Like, it has such a fascinating history to it. Sorry, I just kind of hijacked this entire thing.
Mellotron, yeah, I love that.
So, like, I'd love.
Oh, there it is.
I'd love to be able to have one. Heck, I may be inclined to pull up a video of it again, because it's such a cool.
Do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Phantom, you take over.
Sure, yeah, because that's super interesting. So you use your talk box with your synthesizers then, yeah?
Yeah, I connected into my synthesizers, and I'm able to sound like Daft Punk.
You're right. Or I was thinking Chromeo is who I really like that uses the talk box. And
oh my god, thank you so much. I love Chromeo. I love Chromeo and 8-Track. Chromeo and 8-Track, since they're siblings. Yeah, like.
Really?
Oh my
I
god.
did not know that.
Yeah, Chromeo is the brother of 8-Track. Well, one of the dudes in Chromeo. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's so cool.
8-Track, the really good DJ that used to, scratch like There's No Tomorrow when he was a teenager. I know a lot about all these dudes because I grew up with my uncle, and my uncle's a DJ that does a talk show in my city. What is it? Not a talk show. He's on the radio. He does the radio. He's the radio DJ.
Hey.
That's so cool. So this environment is probably very comfortable for you then.
Definitely.
Makes sense. I was going to say, because a lot of guests that come on, I mean, myself excluded, just because getting me nervous takes a lot. It takes a lot. I have to see an audience to get really nervous about things. But yeah, a lot of guests have been really nervous, and you seem incredibly comfortable here. It's really fantastic to see. That's probably why. That's so cool. So do you think that you started DJing solely because you had influence from I mean, you said you grew up with them, so I'm imagining that you were either very close, or that you lived together, or some sort of situation where you were in close proximity. Do you think that that's actually why you fell in love with music, is because someone you look up to is so involved in it?
Definitely. Everybody on my mom's side of the family, most of the guys, my grandpa is a videographer, and he would make movies a lot. He would make a lot of home movies and like edit them himself on like really old video cameras, like all this sort of like ancient equipment back in like the 70s and the 80s. And we grew up with a lot of technology. And then my uncle started scratching for fun, and he started breakdancing, and he would do that like probably in the 80s, or I don't know. I can't remember when that stuff was
boxes on the shoulder, cardboard.
Yeah, with
like
the
cardboard
boom box
boxes
on the shoulder
street.
and the cardboard. That's exactly what he did. Yeah. And then my mom would be dancing, and my uncle was like, "Yo, I love DJing. Let me like play at like weddings. Let me play at clubs. Let me play at so and so." And then he would, and I would join him sometimes. And then even our neighbors growing up would be like, "Hey, I'm also a DJ. I'm performing at a club this weekend." And I would just be like 7, 8 years old, just like going like to random cool places with all of these people that I know in my life and that I looked up to. And then as I grew up, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna DJ too.
See, what's funny is my father was a DJ, and because I can at least say this because my dad traveled around a bit. My father was a DJ in Los Angeles in the 80s, which was a very big You know, a very big thing.
It's huge.
And like I said, again, I can comfortably say he was in Los Angeles because guess what? He doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah.
So he traveled around a lot. But he was a DJ in Los Angeles, and especially playing rock and roll music. So, but it was kind of thing where he got to play whatever he wanted in his time slot. But he also took requests. And I remember one time he told me there was, I can't remember the name of the song. But it was like one word off. Like there was two songs that came out at the same time where it had one word off from each other, so they essentially had the same name aside from one word. And he played the wrong song by accident, and as soon as he did, the person called back in and started yelling at him and just like, who do you think you are? What are you doing? You're not playing the right song. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. He's like, oh, so it just kind of devolved into just him being like, well, don't recommend a song to me that is one word off. That's kind of on you. You just gave me the song. You didn't give me the artist. So lesson learned.
Half a job, and they've given him an earful.
I was like, come on, sir. You did half a job and you got a full smile.
Yeah, I was trying to change the terminology up a little bit. My brain was like, Phantom, you're not good enough for that. Shut up.
No, you're good enough for that. You'll always be good enough for that.
No, shut up. We're focusing on Ribbon right now. Focus on Ribbon. Don't look at me.
Ribbon, tell him he's good enough.
Don't.
You're good enough.
See, you're good enough.
God damn it.
So if our guest says it, it's true. So I got that video pulled up, and why don't we give that a watch? So
Yeah, let's do it.
let me pause that. Now bear with me because I'm still getting used to my hotkeys. I believe it should be. Nope, wrong one. There it is.
You should have it so the video comes up in the background in like the window.
That's such a good idea.
I'm full of good ideas. That's why people actually like me.
Okay,
It's
well,
not because I'm handsome or like, I'm rich or that I have like a million animals. It's because I'm an idea guy.
all right. Well, here's actually. Hold on. I need to go back to this for a moment because I don't know where my. There it is. Because I would have just opened up my entire OBS to that. I'm like, and I don't need to do that. So we're back to that. Oh, I'm so happy I get to use this screen more often now because I have to do that. Okay, so here is the Mellotron. Nights in White Satin. Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. Turn that volume up. And as you can see, the sound that you're hearing is a early piano. So this is not an orchestra. That's not a violin. That's a piano. I'm also trying to talk over it so Twitch doesn't get itself in a tizzy.
Right, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So,
That is so
but-
cool.
because like I said, it sounds like a full-on. It sounds like a full-on orchestra.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
these run nowadays.
So, I'd say back in the day, like, I mean, this is a full-on keyboard. This is a synthesizer. So if I had to guess, probably within the maybe $3,000 to $5,000 range. Because if you take a look, like, if you take a look at Korg, maybe a Nord keyboard these days, those are, or a Roland, those are very expensive keyboards, synthesizers specifically.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Moog synthesizer, which came after, which is a synthesizer with a giant switchboard attached to it, suddenly the cost is just becoming astronomical. But so I want to go back on that. And talk about that for just a second. So it's now a flute. So ready? He just swapped it back. So it can have 3 different sounds attached to it. That's why it says ABC there. And just exactly, it's the assembly and the quality that makes it so good. So yeah, super incredible instrument. Shameless plug for the Moody Blues, a band that performed in the 70s. If you haven't listened to music, check out the Moody Blues.
Yes.
Their album, The Days of Future Past, is such a good album. Fun fact, that was also the inspiration for the X-Men movie name.
I was about to say, I was like, I know Days of Future Past. I just don't remember what I know it from. I was thinking it was I don't even know. I don't even know what I was thinking. It was like an album or something. But I guess that's what it originally was.
Yep, is the album name, because that song is called Nights in White Satin, and then the whole album itself is just, it essentially goes through the stages of life, where the first song is The Morning, which is really cool, because how it starts out, at the very beginning, you hear a gong play in reverse until it culminates to where the song actually starts. So again, that's one I'd love to play, but again, that's an actual song where I'm not talking over. I don't want to get hit by Twitch, but it's called.
The nice thing is Twitch they'll just mute the VOD.
Oh, that's true.
Someone else had. Yeah, it won't actually like come back on you. You can play music on Twitch.
Oh, that's right.
It's the VOD will just get muted for that section.
The VOD for the VOD.
The VOD for the VOD, yeah.
But
so if you can split it into different sections, I haven't figured out how to do it. I don't know if you can in MP3s, but there are ways to essentially save the different audio files where if you have your voice recording somewhere else, you can then put it on top of it, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll have to do that. Thank you for that. But yeah, so talking about that album for a moment. So it starts out with The Day Begins. And that with that song, like I said, that gong plays in reverse. Welcome, Sybil. Thank you for coming to support Ribbon. That's super awesome of you. You are super awesome. And I love Little Ribbon. So, but yeah, and so that gong plays in reverse. No audio, but I find it so good. Aww. Well, you were awesome. The ads are here.
Not really that interesting.
I can't stop the ads. The ads are just I can. The ads are just dumb. So, but with that song anyway, that gong plays backwards, and then it culminates to the song actually beginning with the London Philharmonic Orchestra or London Symphony Orchestra kicking in and playing, and so that's essentially birth. So the next song, Dawn is a Feeling, is suddenly it's a child going and doing stuff. You know, the morning, I think pubescence, so puberty and all of that. Welcome, DJ Dead Snake. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming to support Ribbon. Super awesome of you. So with that, it's pubescence. Lunch hour is now we're getting into adult life. You know, and so when you hear it, it sounds very like a 50s like you know, just kind of like that stock like corporate business sound, where you'll kind of hear that play with all the strings. The Afternoon is the side 2 of the album. The Afternoon is a very good song where suddenly you're getting into like middle-agedness. After that comes The Evening, which is, you know, old age, and then finally The Night, which is death. And so what's so cool is at the very end of the song, Nights in White Satin, is that it really ties everything back together with a poem, and then you hear the gong, the same gong from the beginning, except the gong is just hit. So it's just played out. So theoretically, you can listen to this album on repeat where you'll hear the gong resonate outward, and then if it replays from the beginning, you'll hear the gong reverberate backwards. Showing that the cycle is a cycle. So cool. I love talking about it.
Nice.
But anywho, I have another question for you. Do you know the Rode, the like Rode pianos?
I don't.
No? So have you ever played Persona?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
I haven't, no.
I'm trying to think of a song that would have it. Basically, if you ever look up on YouTube like a Rhodes piano, it has, I think, my favorite kind of electric piano, where it has such a nice, like, crisp, warm sound to it, where it's just much different than any like other. No, I think Stevie Wonder uses it a lot. But
Oh, wow.
my goodness, I keep forgetting to mute my desktop audio because it plays the audio double. So,
I've been struggling with that whenever you play the videos and I'm trying to like separate your voices and stuff.
I'm so sorry. Well, welcome to the channel where audio scuff is the mainstay.
It's the name of the game, baby.
It's the name of the game.
Woohoo.
So yeah, but I'll pull up I think that'll be the last video I pull up for now, which is I think you'd really enjoy. But for now, we'll segue into our like talking points. So you work in entertainment. You work in the entertainment industry. So let's kind of talk about it a little bit. You said animator, like you worked as an animator, an artist, an illustrator. What all have you been able to do because of it?
I've been able to have so many different connections. I've had so many connections in the entertainment industry. It's crazy. It's nice, even though it's still scarce right now for animation jobs. But like, oh man, like I've been able. I lived in Canada. I lived in San Francisco. I've especially in Canada when I worked for my Netflix job. That was really crazy. It was certainly an experience, and then all the rest of stuff was just freelance through my computer. But I made a lot of different connections. Like I know a lot of people that work at Disney, Nickelodeon, DreamWorks, Pixar,
That's
like
so cool.
everything like that. Yeah. Best uncle.
Welcome.
Hello, hey.
Welcome, Lucille. Thank you so much for coming and supporting Ribbon. That's super awesome of you. So working with all those companies, because with one of the things that I've had the opportunity to work with as well is, you know, those companies of like Netflix, HBO, Amazon, Disney Plus. But on the audio side, it's much different because they're fundamentally different workflows. So what is that? Enlighten me a little bit. What is that like working on the animation aspect? Because I know nothing about that.
Yeah. So for animation, we usually animate on Cintiq tablets. I have one myself in my little studio, or you could animate with just the mouse, usually for puppeteering. You could either do hand-drawn animation, but most studios nowadays do puppet animation since it's easier to produce the work. So like, so for some Netflix shows, we did a lot of puppeteering for the models, so faster animation. What else did we do? We mainly left the frame-by-frame drawing to people that do strictly visual effects, like 2D visual effects, like water, fire, smoke, stuff like that. But yeah, mainly we just sit at a desk all day for like 8 hours and just keep posing the characters until eventually it translates to the full animation, and then you do lip sync, and then you triple check your animation, and then you send it to your lead, and then usually the storyboard and the voice acting work are already done. So like I remember when I worked for Netflix, I heard Bill Burr's voice like 1,000 times in my head, and I was like, all right, how would Bill Burr sound? How angry is he today? I gotta make sure I put that in my facial expressions for him, or like this and that. And it was crazy. A few people thought I got to meet Bill Burr, and I'm like, no, all the audio was done way before we started animating for us animators.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because before I got into the audio engineering industry and scene and all of that, you know, I always figured that was all done post. But that's when I truly figured out the niche that I wanted to go in. Ha!
Yes.
Thank you
Dr.
for that.
Pepper.
Thank you for that, DJ Ted Snake. It's because what I really learned, especially, my gosh, every
I love
time.
that you scream every time. That's my favorite.
Thank
That
you,
is my
Lucille,
favorite part.
for the, thank you for Lucille for the follow. I'm sorry. You get so that I've purposefully made it. I've made it in a way where every time I get hit with a follow, it's really loud in my headset so that I won't forget it. I'll always call attention to it.
Oh. That's genius.
Thankfully, I saw that one coming. Thank you, Lucille, for that. Anywho, so with that, in the entertainment industry, especially with animation or video or audio, something I was told was to changey. Thank you for that. Is you really need to find your niche, meaning if you're wanting to so for instance, if you're wanting to go into audio, it may be easy to be like, hey, no please. It may be easy to to say like,
Please
hey,
spare me.
I want to become a music producer. I want to become a producer in the audio world. It's like, okay, so have you thought about that a little bit? No, not really. So what niche do you want to do? Well, what do you mean? So with that, do you want to do music? Do you want to be a board mixer? Do you want to be in the mastering process? Do you want to be one of the technicians that helps set everything up and is an electrical engineer inside the studio? There's so many things that are involved with it that nobody is like, if you're going to be a jack of all trades, that's fantastic. However, being a master of something is what will ensure longevity in the entertainment industry, because the thing is, they will want professionals that look at the ears. Don't bring attention to the ears. They're so floofy. Oh my god, they're so floofy. Your ears are so floofy. Helping him set this up this weekend. Oh yeah, for the sound alerts. Oh, we're gonna get updated with that, and thanks to Phantom.
We're gonna have fart with reverb. I hope you know that.
And we're going to have an Ara one.
Yes. Oh, I love RRs. I won't do it because my wife doesn't understand it, and she gets weirded out whenever anything remotely sexual happens with animated characters, because she just doesn't get it. Yeah, so I can't, because she'll just be weirded out. But I think those are so funny. I love when people have RROs.
Well, after what happened last time, we won't talk about that. Anywho,
we won't? Are you sure? You don't want to talk about it?
No, we'll talk about that later. So with that, if you want to be in the entertainment industry, locking down something you'll be good at is what will ensure longevity in that kind of profession. So for me, I want to do ADR engineering specifically. I want to be an ADR mixer master. That's what I want to do. Now, for those that don't know, and this ties back to what you were talking about, Ribbon, of all the audio was recorded beforehand. There is a difference between voiceover and ADR voiceover that a lot of people don't understand. Now, when you hear voiceover is just normal voiceover is somebody standing, giving their lines in a microphone and just talking and acting and doing voice acting and all of that. So in the case of, say, whatever show you were working on, or say something like SpongeBob or Teen Titans or whatever, what have you, or heck, even something like Castlevania, all of the audio,
Castlevania,
all of the audio is recorded, like the voiceover is recorded beforehand. And I didn't learn this until, probably about 2 years ago, is that all the audio is recorded beforehand because all the animation, and you talked about it, is done centered around the audio. Now, and that's super cool. That is voiceover. Now, ADR voiceover, which is also called dubbing. So ADR voiceover, automated dialogue replacement, is when you have to take pre-existing audio, remove that, and dub over it. So for instance, if you're watching the Avengers, but you're from, say, Mexico, or you're from Spain, or maybe you're from Japan, or whichever country that has your speaking language, you will have to go into a booth, record that audio, and guess what? That audio is written and dubbed over. So that's ADR. And it's so cool when you understand the difference and how much work goes into both, especially where'd that cookie come from? That's not that cookie.
DJ enabled the feed me a cookie. Yeah, I have a cookie.
That is glorious.
I like it.
I also have bone.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable. That's so adorable. But it's just, after learning that, it gave me such a deeper respect for animators, knowing that they have to animate around all of the audio. Like, in your experience with that, what kind of challenges have you faced? You know, like with all these big projects you may have done, where you're having to animate just like stressful scenes.
Oh my god. So like I guess I could talk about this, but like I worked on a very popular show with Bill Burr on Netflix. I think you guys might know what it's called. And working for that studio was the most stressful time I've ever had at a studio ever in my 4 years of animating. I don't know if it's because it was a big Netflix hit or something, but that crunch time, that condensed time that we had per show, we had like 1 week to do like 9 scenes per day or something like that, and some of these scenes were long, and a few scenes that I got were like really long, very important scenes, and that was my first big gig, and I was like, dude, I'm like an entry-level animator. I'm like technically still a beginner, and they were giving me like advanced scenes, and they were like, well, you can do it, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man, this is really tough. Like, I just animated 10 scenes this morning, and now I'm getting 11 scene. I might have to stay up till like midnight at the studio just like working here. And they're like, well, you could do it, and it would turn out like garbage or this and that, and I would be like, oh no, like the studio is expecting too much out of its animators. And that was a bit of a difficult hurdle with that of them expecting so much out of such a small group, because I think for that show, the total number of animators, including visual effects and compositors and everything, I think we had a total of 15 people for the whole entire show. And the rest was outsourced animation from France. Like for the entry song where like he's flying through the sky and everything, that was outsourced animation from animators from France, I think. And then we also had animators from LA. But like the time crunch was probably the most difficult thing, because I could still animate and I could still get things done. It just took me like an extra day or two than the average person.
My goodness. Like, was this the show F is for Family?
Yeah, it was for F is for Family.
Oh,
and then I right after F is for Family, I worked on I worked on what else? I got hired by Rick and Morty's studio, Starburns Industries, and that was so lax. It was literally the most lax animation job I've ever had. I was like, yo, this is so easy. I could show up even 30 minutes late to work if I wanted to, as long as I get my animation done. Yeah, I sometimes would do that. Sometimes I would be like, hey, I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A and I'm gonna go to the movies, but then I'll be right back to animate. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, as long as you finish your scenes by midnight, you're good. And I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. Because like I worked from home, so like it was so chill, and everybody was so nice, and we animated a lot of adult type animations, so we were all like just making jokes in our downtime and like just in Discord calls, and it's just hanging out with a bunch of nerds, and that's what I loved about different studios, is that obviously the same studio that does Rick and Morty, they're gonna be a bit more goofier than some like strict Netflix, like that this needs to be done or else Netflix is gonna be mad at us, versus like for something like Starburns, it's just like, yeah, let's talk about random silly stuff and just, I don't know, be dorks and be nerds and play Mario Party afterwards or whatever.
Dang. Well, welcome Shiny Hina. Thank you so much for coming to support.
Welcome.
Thank you coming for this. I can speak. Thank you coming. I'm
Oh my gosh, I can't see.
What? What'd you say? I'm sorry. I'll clip that later.
Thank you for coming to support Ribbon.
Yeah, but also thank you for your cummies.
My goodness. See, now as you were talking about working for studio work, with animation, all that, and all the crunch, I can relate to that fairly well in the aspect of, because a lot of my post audio work, I haven't had to do a lot of crunch in my post audio work, but I have done commercials, I've done short films, I've done actual films in terms of field recording, which field recording is when you are recording audio that's outside of a studio or a closed environment. And so doing 9 scenes in a day, trying to animate, a lot of times, a lot of professional film sets try and do that same kind of method of, all right, yeah, we're doing 5 to 9 scenes today that we're shooting, and there's so much, and it's so stressful. But it certainly does show when you go from set to set and production company to production company of just how well they treat you. Because where I'm currently at right now, it's one of those things where I'm sitting at a desk from 8 to 5 every weekday and doing mixing that is here and there, maybe doing a voiceover here and there, and then some field recordings, and otherwise I'm just sitting there doing clerical work and just miscellaneous post audio work. And I can come and go as I please, where I can just walk out and like, oh man, I got here at 8, I'll take my lunch at 11. Why not? But talking about your crunch, like, I don't think I've ever been able to talk to anybody who's experienced that, because most people only hear that in like just social media and just seeing, the studio is doing a crunch for their employees and all that. So are you able to kind of explain that a little bit, for a majority of us who don't know, what that kind of environment, that culture is like?
Yeah, so for some studios are way worse than others, and the studio that I worked for in Canada, I never really want to go back to again, because like they work on other shows, other Canadian shows, like I don't know if you remember that show 16.
Wait a minute, no.
It's that Canadian show.
I love that show, my gosh.
Yeah, with the teenagers at the mall. It's the one with the teenagers at the mall.
My
one of my
gosh.
animation friends that was right next to me, she was animating on that show the same time as we were working on F is for Family, but it was more advanced animation. I don't know how, but I was like, all right. And then she's like, yeah, I'm working on this, and the crunch time's insane. I have to get like 12 scenes done by midnight. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's 3 o'clock. And then she's like, yeah, I still have to get 12 scenes done by midnight. And I'm like, oh, hell no.
Wait, so when was this? Because I thought
this was right when COVID happened, this was literally like a few months before COVID happened. Wait, in October.
Is 16, was that still going on? I thought the show ended in like
I thought
2011.
That show only got like a couple seasons. Yeah,
I guess they were doing some sort of like side thing, but she was animating on it for new episodes coming out.
That's so, because isn't that, I thought that also kind of be the same same studio that did Total Drama Island.
I was just about to say,
all I know is that Chris Potenza, who does the voice of Chris, I thought he was one of the producers as well for that show. Because so Chris was not only the Chris McLean, but he was Jude. I think he was Jude in 16. How do I remember that? How do I remember his name?
Why do you remember that?
Because it was a good show.
Was it? It just felt
a great show.
It felt above my age group, which is weird because I don't know.
I was right. It's Jude. Heck yeah, brother. It was a great show. Like, I remember as a kid, I was so young at the time when I saw like Night of the Living Dude or something like that. Because I was right. It is Night of the Living Dude. It was a Dude of the Living Dead. It was Dude of the Living Dead, and so like they have their own like zombie sort of like 45-minute special where it was a parody of Night of the Living Dead. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that so clearly. Oh my goodness, I've never met another person who has talked about 16. I'm sorry, I'm just excited.
I just remember the theme song.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the theme song goes hard.
16.
It's such a good show. Well, not only that, Total Drama Island, such a good show. Like,
Total Drama Island is great.
not only that, another Canadian-based
I love
TV show.
how chaotic. Yeah, Canadian. Yeah.
Well, so here's the question though: if both of you two watched Total Drama Island, who were you rooting for when you saw it?
Oh man, I just love how crazy the main host guy got over
Chris
the years.
McLean.
That's what I love. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I love how absolutely insane he got. Like through each season, he just like slowly lost it more and more, and I'm like, yes, good.
Oh my gosh, Chris McLean is such a good addition to the show, and I kind of like he was such a controlled character, like toned down character in season 1, and then they ramped it up to insanity by the time the last one came out. Because I remember Total Drama Island came out, then Total Drama Action came out, then Total Drama World Tour came out, and then I think Total Drama World Tour, not World Tour, the race one. Was it? Maybe it was just, I don't remember. Either way, it was Revenge of the Island. That's what came after. And so, where they went back to Camp Wawanakwa. So, I know a lot about the Total Drama Island lore.
You know a weird amount about the lore.
Damn, that's pretty impressive.
Lore is usually Robe's thing. This is strange for me.
Well, so like I said, Total Drama Island was such a big part of my childhood because it was like, it was a kid's show that treated you more or less like an adult.
Yeah. Dr. Pepper.
For me, it clipped, and I just begun to hear the scream, and then I just see the Dr. Pepper.
Oh my goodness.
Which is amazing. Yeah, I really liked, there are two characters that always stood out to me. I don't remember the names, but I remember it was the big black dude.
Chef.
Was that his name?
His name's Chef.
Yeah, because
Chef.
that's just a thing. Like any
He was a
like
drill sergeant.
huge buff like black dudes, like immediately I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. This guy's fucking tight.
You seem like a Biscuit Oliver kind of guy from Baki.
I have not actually seen Baki.
Biscuit Oliver is he is the strongest man in all of America, and he essentially he's a prisoner who is allowed to do as he please. So what I say is, he's a prisoner. He's in like the highest security prison in Arizona. But the thing is, since he's so strong, he's essentially allowed to come and go as he pleases. Because in return, he sort of captures other people. Is like, yeah, I live the high life, and I have like the.
So it's like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so, because the thing is, if you look at the rest of the prison, everybody's kind of like, because it's for like the worst criminals. And then you see where he is, and he has like a fully furnished, big multi-room area of the prison, complete with like a computer, big bedroom, like vintage wine. Just, he's such a cool character. But yeah, I was always, for Total Drama Island, I was always a Trent guy. Trent and Gwen, that was always such a good dynamic. And then
Gwen the goth girl?
Yep. Gwen the goth girl,
that was
yep.
the other girl. I really liked her. But that's just because like
Same.
it's yeah, I don't know. It's a total like, because back when I was young, like goth was like, it wasn't just like a dress, it wasn't just the dress code or like the aesthetic. It was like it was a lifestyle. It was like the attitude too, which is, I mean, totally contrary. I'm like I was always in the like the peppy crowd, so it was like so weird that it was like, I mean, Sam from Danny Phantom, Gwen, I mean, the goth girls.
That one girl from
we love goth girls.
The Hex Girls.
I don't know what it is.
From Scooby-Doo.
Oh, the Hex Girls too from Scooby-Doo.
That one woman from Kim Possible.
Oh,
Shigo?
Shigo? Don't get me
Shigo.
started.
I never saw Kim Possible.
Oh, it was so good.
I
mean,
know it was good.
I had three sisters, so for me, I had an older and then two younger. So I mean, I could not get away with watching any television that was designed for boys. I had to watch what was designed for either everyone or girls specifically.
And little did they know,
So,
something like Kim Possible was also for guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was definitely
yeah.
like female centric, but it definitely had appeal. 100%.
And then now I'm just thinking about. Do you remember the show Totally Spies?
Okay. Look,
yeah.
What is that? What is that?
There is a reason I remember Totally Spies, and I don't know if I'll ever forget it. I don't know.
So much reason.
Oh, it's because of the butler.
I don't know. Alfred?
No, I don't know his name.
Alfred's dope. It's Alfred.
His name's Alfred?
Wait, no, it's not. Wait, what is it? Hold on.
What, I misfriend that has a sister? No, I don't have a sister.
Hold on.
Total.
Jerry.
My man.
Jerry.
With the.
I think I've told JG this, but I don't know if I've ever said this in a public setting before. But it's so weird, but I do remember Totally Spies specifically because I remember I had a dream about Alex, and that was my first boner. I shit you not. I remember it because I remember being so confused about what was happening. I was sleeping face down, and I was like, what is going on? What is going on? I was like, I just got to get up and walk around. I guess this is restless leg syndrome. As like a 12-year-old, I was trying to figure out what in the world was going on. So yes, I do know Totally Spies. I don't think I'll ever forget Totally Spies because that was weird. Most guys don't remember that. I vividly remember that.
Welcome.
Because it was confusing.
Welcome, Dopor. Welcome.
Or people pouring in and just like, what is he talking about?
Thank you for coming to support Ribbon. And sorry you had to come in at this part. So, I redeemed
barking only. Oh, I tried that like 20 minutes ago. It didn't do anything.
I see.
Yeah, I was like, woof.
My gosh.
Woof, woof.
I did that to Sevilla, the guest from last week. She has a channel point redemption where it is sing the Golden Girls theme song for 30 seconds. And I did that during the last stream. And she started chatting like, no, I can't do that. And because of that, I have now gone into her stream. And every time I go in, I redeem like 2 minutes worth of making her sing that. And it is one of my favorite things to do.
We got scared.
Yeah.
No, don't worry.
We got scared. Woof, woof, woof.
Woof,
woof, woof.
woof.
Woof. Woof, woof,
That's a
woof, woof,
very
woof,
good. That's a
woof,
very
woof.
good sound effect.
It's my favorite thing to do because you know who else buys it?
Who?
Dogs. So if you cup your hands, I cup my hands over my mouth when I walk in somewhere. I go, is that a dog outside? And then I will just watch my friend's dog go, oh, I'm gonna get that dog, and they just immediately run to wherever their favorite observation point is.
My gosh.
But yes, I was very much the ADHD chatterbox when I was a kid, and sounds were my favorite thing to do, and so I got very good at some of them. Some of them I can still do. The others faded with puberty. The dog is the best one because it has uses. I wish there are times where I wish I had my camera on just because I started doing that and my cat immediately went, what the hell is going on here? I hear a dog. It's a good one.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We love tangents on this show. Tangents are the best thing ever we can have. So we are in the 30-minute. We're hitting the 1.5 hour mark here. So I think.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Dr.
my.
Pepper.
We need like a sound effect
Whoa.
whenever people start doing it back to back to back that we can start playing.
Oh.
That's just like really like overdrive guitar riffs that just start playing.
Maybe.
I'm a big fan of the national anthem because I think it's just really obnoxious and super fun to just start doing like wild renditions of the national anthem at inappropriate times.
We need more cans.
More cans.
I mean,
let's see what I can.
twist my arm.
Let's see, I can. You happen to do that as I got rid of it because I was about to add more cans. My gosh. Okay.
Look, my timing's great. It always has been.
All right, fine.
More cans. More cans.
All right. So while he's messing with the cans, Ribbon. So what are some of your end goals?
Oh, I can only.
My end goals.
Yeah. So are you looking to try and DJ, or like, do you have like a certain size you want to grow? Is streaming like certain content what you want to do? Do you want to be an animator? Like, what's the end goal for you?
So like, the thing is, like, animating has been really crazy this past year. Like, all animators have been very, what is it called? Bankrupt and all this crazy stuff because of the writing strikes and all these strikes, and AI came out and everything.
I was gonna say AI.
Yeah, but right before all of this, like a year ago, when I had another interview with my dream job studio, I can't believe I had an interview with them. I was like, yo, my animation style's right up your alley, because it's like trippy, like Adult Swim, like type random stuff that I come up with, that I animate, and I had an interview with I hope I'm not butchering the name, but it's a June Blick. It's this studio that works for Adult Swim, and they they worked on one of my favorite shows on Adult Swim called Super Jail, and it's all 2D animated, and it's very like over the top and wild. And as soon as I got an email from them being like, hey, let's have an interview so you could like hopefully animate with us in Toon Boom and in the software that we use, and I was like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, because like that's my dream job. And I had the interview with them. The interview went great, but they ended up hiring somebody else that lived in the same city compared to working freelance, but they were like, oh, but we'll always still be hiring again, and like you could still apply and everything. So I've been applying since then more, but like yeah, I can't believe I had that dream job interview. But definitely I want to animate for another show on Adult Swim, or I want to animate on Rick and Morty. I almost animated on Rick and Morty. I almost animated last year. I was literally one day late to apply, and I was just like, oh my god, I missed the deadline by one day. And then my friend that was working with me at Starburns, he was like, I got the job, Ribbon. And I was like, oh my god damn it. And I was like, I could have been your coworker.
Oh, there's
but that was
nothing
really
worse
cool.
than watching someone else get like a dream job, and then that's something you were like, oh, I really wish I could get this. Someone else like, I got it. How? Yeah, it's great. Celebrate with
like,
me.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was just like, oh no, and so but I remember for Rick and Morty season, I think it was Rick and Morty season 4 or 3, but I applied to be a character designer, and I nailed down the style like exactly, like I drew it exactly for the test that I was given, and they were like, oh, we were gonna hire you, but you were like 3rd on our list, and we ended up going with these 2 other people that we hired, and we stopped at 2 instead of going to 3 people. And I was like, oh my god. And I was like, I almost got the job again. So I was just like, it's fine, it just wasn't meant to be. But definitely animating for Adult Swim again would be a dream job of mine. Twitch is fun, but I like it more as like a side hobby, like just like random DJing, random doodling, random all this stuff. But like, yeah, animation is something I've always been passionate about.
I really like the way that there's a lot of people, especially when they're in fields that you're in, where there's always someone better, there's always someone bigger. I mean, there's always going to be someone who's just like, they're the genius of our era and you'll never compare to them. Like, that's always how it feels. I love the way you confidently stated that you nailed the style. You were like, I got it. The interview went great. Everything was good. I was just third on the list.
Yeah.
What more can I do? I'm going to keep applying. That is, I mean, that is infectious. I love that.
That kind of reminds me of because I've had the opportunity to be a casting director for an anime, and with that, when the hardest thing that I have to tell people, and it comes from my experience in theater, where again I was a technical director or a stage manager, either or. The hardest thing that I can ever tell somebody is, your audition was perfect, you're just not what we're looking for right now. And that's that's exactly what I kind of imagine where that was happening in that situation, where your application was perfect. It's just they were only looking for 2 right now. But it didn't deter you, because like I said, for the people who I was able to cast in the anime I was able to do, was because I reached out to them personally, because I felt bad when people work hard to apply. I'm like, I can at least give them the courtesy of saying, hey, you didn't get the job. But I always encourage people to say, hey, keep auditioning. And so I remember I got a response back where, because the email I had, perhaps I still have the email that I can at least share.
Yeah.
Because I think if I know there's so many people, especially in VTubing or streaming, that they want to get into voiceover. They want to do something in this industry. They want to do something with anime, or just any type of performance. So perhaps this is something that could help those who are having a little, having some things about that. So here's the email I had for the people that got in, was like, the casting is, because I sent this out to the people as sort of a courtesy, because this isn't necessarily the standard. This isn't necessarily what happens, because this all goes through agents and agencies and all that. And they're kind of said, hey, you got the job, be here at this time. But that's not how I do it. I like to make sure I contact people. And so, I basically just said, hey, the casting is done. Before anything, I want to encourage all of you to refrain from making any posts or communications outside of the cast, because of maintaining privacy of the project and legal stuff. I need to let you know about this. You're going to be signing an NDA, so we don't talk about this, but we're pleased to inform you made the cut. This was a difficult decision, but you made it, so that now you can breathe a little easier. While you did get cast, we still have high love and high expectations for all of you regarding your performance and interactions with others. So, respond to everything, and keep in mind that while you were cast, don't get a big head, because it's not why you were cast. You were cast because of your talent. And so, like I said, I sent that out as a courtesy, because sometimes it's hard for people to kind of rationalize whether they get it or they don't, and like, oh, I got it, that's because I'm good. When sometimes it's just like, you got cast because you had exactly what they need, and you didn't get cast because you didn't have what they need. I'm trying to find this other email. Nope, that's not it. But long story short, it sucks being told you didn't get it when you worked so hard, and clearly you have a level head where you're like, I didn't get it. You know what? Forget that. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do, which is kind of the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
So
when life gets you down, you just gotta keep getting back up and going up those stairs.
So let's see. Do I have that? So if you want to ask anything, Phantom, while I get this figured out.
You're really making me work for this. I was just trying to hang out and chill. I'm like, just like hanging out, eating some pizza. Yeah, no, absolutely. So you do art streams, right? Do you do actual animation on your streams, or do you just do art? Okay, so do you do commission work?
I used to.
Because I'm imagining you can't do your actual animation job.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, that's not allowed. I'm
imagine.
not hired by anyone. Yeah, I'm not hired by anyone in animation right now. It's been a little rough trying to land an animation job, but I have been applying to a few places. But I do art streams, free art streams, where I draw people's character or like their OC or like their VTuber, and I usually do those like once a month, maybe like twice a month. But those are like my most popular streams. Like, oh my gosh, like the amount of people that get in there, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming.
Oh, people
But
love
it's
free stuff.
totally worth it.
What numbers are we talking about? Like, what do you typically
Like
see?
40, 45.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a ton.
And then
of
when I get
people.
raided, it gets even worse, and I'm like, oh my god, help me.
That is wild. Yeah, I mean, I imagine people like if there's one thing people love, it's anthropomorphic girls.
Yeah.
But they also love free things. And then once you start hitting quality good free things, people go absolutely insane. So yeah, I'd imagine that you're, as a professional animator, and just from looking at your model, I'd imagine people probably go insane when they see that you're just like art stream, giving away free arts, just hanging out,
Giving away
barking
stuff,
and doing stuff.
barking,
Ooh woo.
drawing.
And I mean, I would swing into that and be like, hey, art stream, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Because that just seems like a really good time. So,
Oh yeah.
of your streams, you were saying that your art streams are your favorite. You do DJ streams, you do art streams. You're playing through the story mode of GTA 5 right now. So are art streams your favorite?
Yeah, art streams are probably my favorite because I love to hang out with more people, because it's not only drawing, but like everybody, like since there's so many people in my chat, that's like the highest that I get on Twitch is just the community. Like everybody's like oh, like it's so cool that we get to see the process of how you're drawing. Like I never knew that people would be so fascinated by like the breakdowns of like how to draw a character or how to draw like a dragon, their like dragon OC, or like how to draw like a cat or a person in a different style, or like a person with like bat wings or like something like that. And like it's really cool. Like I always thought of one day doing like an animation like freebie, but I think that would blow through what I'm like. I think I would be so
Burned out.
Burned out. I would be like, no, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, let's keep it at busts. Let's keep it at bust drawings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that sounds awesome. I totally agree. It's funny because I always talk about building a community rather than a fan base, because I like things to be tight knit. I'm very laid back. I like to be very personal with people, and I always have more fun the more people. Not necessarily the more people are in stream, but the more people that are interacting in stream. It's usually it's tied together, but not always. And I can totally understand like getting upwards of like 20 people. Like it's so easy to just be like, you can almost like just lean on chat, and rather than having to stream of consciousness things or like look for talking points, like they'll provide for you. The community will offer up those conversations, and I feel like that makes streaming so much easier, so much more fun when it just becomes very like, you are just, like you said, you're hanging out, you're just doing art for fun, and then there are just other people with you. That's awesome. I love that sort of stuff, and I'm so glad that your most popular stream is your favorite stream to do. I mean, maybe it's tied together, but I mean, you were saying that animation's your dream job. I think it might be different if you were playing as Lester, or not playing as Lester, playing as Trevor, and then all of a sudden you got 100 people in there, and you're like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Woo, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have a very different vibe. That's how I feel with I feel like I get a lot more interaction with certain streams, usually with doing like Phasmophobia, where people are constantly like going ham, like people are participating in polls, and people are like invested in like, oh, are we gonna figure it out, like who's dying, who's living. And then I'll go and play like a like a deck builder, and then everyone's quietly watching and observing and trying to play along. There's still, the viewer counts will stay similar, but it's like people will respond differently to different stimuli. And I think that's so interesting that like I never would have imagined when I was younger and streaming was first becoming a thing that people would flock to the art streams. I really figured it would be like the music streams or the like the gaming streams of whatever is like brand new. And it turns out that's not the case. Those are actually usually the quietest streams. It's usually like the new releases, they don't want backseating and people just want to observe and watch things. Same with music. They just want to listen to the music. And art, it gives you that opportunity where it's like, no, I have the bandwidth to both be drawing and speaking at the same time.
Multitasking.
Yeah, multitasking.
So I found that email.
Yes.
I found that email. So, because what I'll do is I'll say this email and then I'll ask probably 2 more questions and then we'll call it successful. So when I sent out this email, it was super hard because at the time, you know, people, it was when this was after COVID, so people were getting back and all that, and so people were super excited to get back into the, you know, in-person booth and all that. And so, but sending out this email is so rough, but I essentially worded it in a way that, you know, expressed my concerns, you know, reassuring that and encouragement. And so it said, I was like, we really, because it was me and my team, we really appreciate everyone for coming to the auditions for this project. We feel so grateful to have been able to experience so many talented individuals. It's been a difficult decision at this time. We regret to inform you you were not cast. You know, we encourage you to not take personal offense, as this decision was made professionally with all the appropriate aspects considered. We encourage you to continue practicing these skills and attend future auditions. You know, if you, in heck, I went the full 10 yards and went, if you would like any feedback, reach out to me personally. We thank you for your understanding and support. We hope to get to see you for future projects. Welcome, Nina.
My man.
So,
putting in the extra customer service.
So, you know, and some people reached out, some people didn't, but at the end of the day, it was those people that reached out that set themselves apart, and I was able to see them and work with them again because they took the words advice I had, and they were able to put it to good use, and I was able to see them again in future productions that I still work with now. So, you know, if people are looking to do voiceover, you know, or anything in the entertainment industry, or just anything in general that requires you to apply and really showcase your skills in an interview, just keep at it, because clearly Ribbon has the best mentality of, I didn't get that, I know I did perfect, that's not gonna stop me, I'm just gonna go again. So, you know,
if anyone's looking for a campaign,
Let's keep going.
good lord, like I feel like you got it all built into one.
So the Battle of the Bra is over. My favorite battle in that of the American Revolution. That was a stretch of a joke. Anywho,
I liked it.
Oh, thank you.
I won't make a sticker of me sneaking up, getting ready to bonk you for it.
I haven't made that joke
good.
at all during this show. I haven't made that joke at all during this show.
It is impressive. It is impressive. Of course, you don't make the joke now that I made a sticker for it. Cool of you.
No, I just forgot. So
My mom.
finishing that cap on the entertainment thing, because I do want to ask one question. One moment, please.
Hi, Trey.
So I think this is a good question given your experience. That would certainly help a lot of people who want to go into VTubing later in life. Now, is there anything that you had learned that helped you prepare to go into this industry? And then was there anything that you learned in the industry itself that helped you become a VTuber now?
Yeah, so I remember in college, because I went to college to be an animator, and we had so many classes that were about like marketing, social media, just a lot of social media management, and like being our own bosses, and like trying to put ourselves out there with our own talents, because like some of us would be actors, animators, game designers, I don't know, like anything that you could think of that was sort of entertaining to have as a profession, or like photographers, or like whatever. And that definitely prepared me a lot for like my social media management, and for like making ideas for Twitch, or like the free art streams, for example. Like that's my highest view counts that I've had. So like I know how to like draw a crowd in from that experience of taking those classes. We also made our own Kickstarters. We also did all these like cool projects of like crowdfunding and everything, and they worked. And some of the students that we had in our classes made the Kickstarters live, and they were very successful with like our instructors and everything that have a lot of experience in that stuff. And I mean, being an animator, like I already knew how to draw. So like over the years, I drew my own dog VTuber model, and my first model looked horrible. My second model looked a bit better. And this is my final model, and it looks so much better than before, because like practice makes perfect. And like, I just remembered like just where I started from like a few years ago to now. I'm like, oh man, like it can only get better from here. Or like, oh man, the community can only get better and bigger. Or it doesn't even matter if it gets bigger. Like it just, to me, it just matters of like drawing the right people. And as long as you have the right people in your community, then like you're set. You have your solid fans that care about you. You mix in with like IRL streaming, like how I do. Like I trust my community. I feel very confident in my place right now, like as a small creator. Like I'm very content with that. And I guess if animation has taught me anything about VTubing, is I guess when sorry, my brain got scrambled eggs. Is when I first took classes in my college years, we have to take acting classes. Game designers and animators, we have to take acting classes. You cannot deny an acting class. You have to take at least 3, I think.
Ooh.
And I had a blast in acting. Oh my god, that was so much fun.
Was it called Acting 1, Acting 2, Acting 3?
Yes, it was like Acting 101, Acting 200, Acting 305 or something. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And I had a blast. Like, oh my god. I loved acting out scenes. I loved being dramatic. I love being dramatic as hell. Like when you first enter the acting class, everybody is nervous. Nobody talks to anybody. But at the very last day of acting class, everybody's goofy. Everybody's extra dramatic. Everybody's a drama queen. Everybody's a little bit better of an actor than they were on day one. And like, I remember my senior year of acting class, I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like I love being an animator, cause like you could just do whatever you want, and then like put pointers for like the animation program that you're in, and just keep recording yourself over and over and over. And that's what I love about animating, genuinely. And as a VTuber, you also have to be really animated. Like I know, like, what is it called? Like Shy Lily's model is like super duper animated in the facial expressions and the body movements. And then so I was just like, man, I can only imagine like how she does prepare for her Twitch stream, or how any other like HoloLive or whichever have you, like they have to put on an act. They have to perform as a character professionally. And I'm like, man, that sounds like a lot of fun. I just do it because I mix my IRL self in it, but I can only imagine doing it full time.
Then would you say that's your advice for, because from the two things I gleaned from that, your advice for anyone who's looking into VTubing with that is humility, is be humble, is know where you came from.
Yeah.
Not dwell on where you came
Yes,
from,
exactly.
but know where you came from, because you can't look in you. I've said this metaphor before. You can't drive a car and look in the rearview mirror the entire time, seeing where you just came from, because at a certain point you will hit something going off that road. And so keeping that humility, knowing where you came from and knowing where you're going. The second thing is understand whether you want to be yourself or whether you want to be a character. Because the figuring out which one you want to be will help determine your the route you choose. Because like for you, you're very much your real self. Whereas someone like me, I give myself a little more anonymity, and I play a little bit into my my model a little more. So and that actually leads me into the final kind of questions of this, of that you post on Twitter, especially IRL stuff. How might showing your IRL self change how your community sees you? Like, is there a certain level of trust that has to happen? Because that's a very big gamble of taking, showing who you really are. So
remember, like, I used to get a little paranoid of posting where I was at, because my city is very, once you know what city I'm in, it's so easy to know which city I'm in, because like the restaurants and like the grocery store give it away and everything. And like I remember always what one of my friends told me when I used to be a bit more popular on Twitch, but now I just like died down a little bit. And I love that I died down a little bit, because I'm like, I don't like a lot of eyes on me. But I used to wait a while before I post. I would wait 1 to 2 hours before I would post where I'm at. Like, say if I'm downtown, or say if I'm like at an iconic spot, or like Voodoo Donuts or something, like whatever, or like, I don't know, the mall, or like an arcade. My friend always said, do what Markiplier does and wait 1 to 2 hours, and then wait till you completely left the area, and then once you left, then post it online. And I was like, perfect, because that's what I do too. Because I would have a few people on Twitter being like, oh hey, you're at blah blah blah, I know where that is. And I'm like, all right, like that, you know where it is, but I won't be there anymore, because this status is now old, and now I'm in my apartment and I'm all cozy. And yeah, or like even when I went to Las Vegas, like I would be like, I won blah 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 at this hotel, and they would be like, oh, like I know where that hotel is. But they would be very nice, they would be very sweet. They would be like, oh, like I'm at TwitchCon, like that would be cool to like gamble after. And I'm like, yeah, like it's good that I have a small little community, because it's like easy to monitor, it's easy to contain, it's easy to moderate, and it's easy to do all that stuff. But yeah, it's there is a huge level of trust. Like sometimes I like still cover my face sometimes, like if I post like a mirror pic or something. But like usually it's good as long as you have good mods, as long as you have good social media managing, and you know what you're doing. As long as you don't like accidentally give yourself away too easily, or post when you're there at that exact time. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like pretty sound advice, especially, like I said, trying to protect yourself, making sure you don't accidentally dox yourself.
Oh,
That'd be pretty bad. So
that would be horrible.
well, we just reached our 2-hour mark, so we're pretty much. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
It's not me, I swear.
Hold on. There we go.
Guy.
That was my brother, who I love very much. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So, as we wrap up this show, there's one thing I always like to make sure to ask is, tell me, is there any projects, anything coming up, anything that we should look out for, anything that we should support, anything that we should do? You finally get audio.
I've been trying. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Paisley.
I've been finally trying to what have I been? I really want to make another set list as a DJ because I only have one set so far, so that means I'm only prepared to play around 1 to 2 hours of music, but it's the same songs. But as a DJ, I really want to get better, and I want to start messing around with my synthesizers and TalkBox more live on Twitch. Even though it's like my least popular stuff, I'm just like, you know what? I'm having fun. Like, it doesn't matter to me, because then eventually what happens with every content creator is no matter what you dabble into, eventually you'll find that audience. Eventually that audience will naturally come to you. And I want to make a second set list as a DJ. So I want to make my second set ever, and I probably want to like get better at DJing and just keep practicing and keep trying to dabble more into music.
Well, that sounds like something we need to be well on the lookout for. I feel like I would love to do music streams. Like, and I've talked about this in the past, is I want to expand to maybe do some like, because do you know like the company Avid? No? So I use an audio editing software called Pro Tools. That's the industry standard for audio editing for the entertainment industry. And I thought it'd be super fun to, oh my gosh! So I can't increase the amount without it making it different than throw all of the cans of Dr. Pepper. So instead I reduced how quickly it gets thrown. So it feels like it's more. But yeah, I always thought it'd be fun to do a stream where I just edit like whatever people send me. And I can make it sound good on stream. You know, if like people want me to edit music or like maybe a voiceover reel or something like that, and just do it for fun, for entertainment. So, you know, being able to do passions like that is such a wonderful thing to do as a content creator, you know, regardless of how well it's received. You know, as long as you're doing what you love, I feel like you're always in the right there. Oh.
Yes.
So yeah, well, this has been our show. This has been such a wonderful show. Like, every guest I have, I get to learn so much and do so many cool things. So if you haven't already, go check out, go follow, go support, you know.
Go donate for the Donathon.
Go donate for the Donathon. We need this free. We need this.
Donathon.
Thank you, Nina. We need to get that free. We need to get that free art stream. I feel like that'd be super fun. Actually,
free art stream.
I do have one last question. Tell me, do you have anybody we could raid?
Oh, let's see. I know a lot of people. My friend Penkuna is live. They're a raccoon.
Oh. Then put that link in the chat, or just send it to me in the Discord right now.
Let's see. There we go, Penkuna. Hydrating cookie time.
It stops the links. I need to figure out how to allow those links.
I can help you with that.
Thank goodness, because I've been in your stream this entire time, so I just copied it from that. So there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's this.
Cool.
And let me get that raid set up.
Woohoo!
Well, guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. Did I just send a Discord link? Did it? Wait, am I stupid?
Maybe. I mean, I love you anyways.
Nobody said anything to me. My gosh, hey guys, I sent a Discord link. I sent a Discord link. I want to crawl into my shell and never come out again. Penkuna.
Join my Discord.
Yeah.
And then Celeste, let's go. So not only that, if you haven't already, join the Discord. It's super fun. It's super cool. It's super free. There's so many super channels. So please join the Discord. Join the Discord and come interact, because you can meet and interact with our past guests. So with that said, thank you, DJ Dead Snake. That's okay. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for coming out to support Ribbon, and thank you for coming on the show, Ribbon. I super appreciate that.
Of course, anytime.
So for all you there, join us tomorrow where we will have our next wonderful guest, Monozuki, and that will be at 1 instead of 2 because time zone differences are a pain in the butt. So with that said, I love you all. Have a wonderful night. And Ribbon's baby girl.
Hi.
Thank you, Nina. Bye-bye! There we go.
Well done, well done.
Woohoo! Double